How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. It's definitely been quite a while since I did a PO3 Bootcamp episode. Now that we are in the new year, I do plan on doing at least one of these a week. So if you are looking to get more into the PO3 in general, not just the 10 a.m. model, but really learning the concept as a whole and learning the way I've traded for the last 2 years, then stick with this series, turn your post notifications on. There's going to be a ton of free value in this, but essentially all this video is going to be is a couple of bias tips that do tie into the PO3 that are really going to help you determine what your drawn liquidity is and just overall bias for the day and the week. And we're going to use about 3 concepts here and kind of see how they all tie in with an example on the charts here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So what we can already see here, our first concept is PO3, tying in with open, high, low, close, which we'll go over in a moment. And we also have something that you can't see. So let's start with just the PO3 and a daily open, high, low, close. Okay, so that's going to be the first aspect of picking your daily bias. Okay, so this candle, we know, if you have watched the other bootcamp episodes, you know this. If you haven't, go back and watch them first. You know, with any candle, pretty much, if we do have a bullish candle, we like to open, make that low before continuing higher, right? And if we were in a bearish candle, we would open, make that high before continuing lower, okay? Generally, what that's going to look like on a lower time frame is accumulation or consolidation to build up and generate liquidity, a manipulation that is usually going to be putting in the low of that higher time frame candle and grabbing some form of liquidity as well. And then our distribution, which is the third part of power of 3, which is actually putting in that higher time frame candle. Okay, now let's tie this in with our daily bias. Okay, so for daily bias, you do need to try to understand daily and weekly profiles. This is going to be essentially the daily PO3 profile, otherwise in certain scenarios known as the New York reversal profile. Okay, now in order for us to identify a New York reversal, we first need to mark out the sessions. So here is the start of Asia session, here is the start of London session, and here is the start of the New York session. So when we are looking at a New York reversal profile in a bullish scenario, we want to see first Asia put in a range here and consolidate. Okay, now generally we want London to stay somewhat within that range. If it does break the Asia lows, that's okay, but generally we want Asia and London to be pretty low volume. Again, we are still clearly in this accumulation range, right? Essentially, you just want them to range, don't really want them to break out aggressively to the up or the downside, okay? Now, once you see that you have London lows put in, you're going to see a manipulation when New York opens, okay? Whether London has already taken out Asia lows or not, essentially, you're going to see both of these sessions get swept out pretty much immediately when the New York session opens in the morning, okay? Now that we know that, we have to tie that into a different concept, which is going to be ERL to IRL or IRL to ERL, okay? Now, ERL is going to be your external liquidity. So those are your highs and your lows, right? Internal liquidity is IRL, and internal liquidity essentially is just fair value gaps, okay? So I'm gonna back up the charts here, and we're gonna play this out as if we are looking to enter a trade, okay? We're just pretty much just gonna back test this. So I'm gonna flip on to the daily time frame here. Now obviously that's the daily candle, but let's assume we don't see that yet, okay? So what did we do the previous day? We completely violated a daily fair value gap. This is pretty much bullish on all fronts here, okay? So I'm bullish just looking at the general direction of the charts here. Now I'm going to go onto the 4-hour time frame here. Okay, so let me back this up one more candle here. I can clearly see that we are already ranging, right? To me, I am expecting a pullback, okay? I'm not just expecting, oh, we started to range, we're gonna immediately rip up. This tells me if we've been consolidating for, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 hours, we're gonna need to grab some liquidity, okay? Now, what do we have here? We have a 4-hour fair value gap that has been untouched, okay? So that is our internal liquidity on the 4-hour time frame, okay? Now, I'm expecting us to hit internal. If we do see a reaction off of that, like we predicted, then our next target is going to be external liquidity, which is going to be this high right here and the all-time highs. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark out our two clear forms of external liquidity right here and right here. Okay, now that we have that, let's go ahead and go on to the hourly time frame. All right, just like we said we wanted, again, hourly is probably the best time frame to kind of plot out your previous sessions just because it's easy to see. So again, we can see London pretty much stayed within that same range. New York is about to open. Okay, I'm expecting the low of day to be put in once we hit that 4-hour fair value gap. Okay, so we have our accumulation. New York opens. We get our manipulation right there. And once you see that and you see a clear reaction back to the upside, you're pretty much ready to enter the trade. So you can also see that there is a low time frame PO3 here, which I think that's going to be the next episode of the bootcamp is smart money reversals. But again, that's different. That's not what we're focused on today. So do we have a fair value gap? We do right here. So 1, we'd have an inversion right here, and 2, we would also have a change in state of delivery all on the 1-minute time frame. Okay, that would pretty much tell me, okay, we're ready. The bottom has been put in. I'm going to go long. I'm going to keep my stop at that low of day we formed. And what am I very confident that we can target here? The external, because we just grabbed internal. Okay, boom, about a 2R to that level and about a 4 risk to reward to that second piece of external. So we can play that out. On the 1-minute time frame, this is going to go pretty slow. And again, this is another reason not to close your position because you think you know what's going to happen. Set your stop loss, set your take profits, and whatever happens from there happens. And looks like we're about to break out here soon. All right, boom, first level of external hits, and we immediately begin distributing pretty much up to that second level, which I believe will hit after this pullback. Yeah, and just like that, pretty much catch a 4 risk to reward trade. Again, the higher probability setups, guys, are going to be the ones where everything is lining up, right? We had bullish IRL to ERL. We had a bullish New York reversal profile, okay? We had a bullish PO3 and daily open, low, high, close, okay? If you're able to stack a bunch of, well, not a bunch of different, if you're able to stack, 2, 3, 4 daily bias confluences and all of them are aligning with each other, that's going to be a high probability day. Now, you're also going to have days where you might have 2 things that are bullish and 2 things that are bearish. Those are days where you might want to be cautious, might want to de-risk, and might honestly want to even sit out of the market, which we do pretty often when we do have days like that. But again, all this video is to just pretty much display a few concepts that you can apply into your daily and even weekly bias. So if that helped you guys, go ahead and leave a like. If you do have any questions, leave some comments. And again, stay tuned because I am going to be posting probably about 40 to 50 episodes of this PO3 Bootcamp. I'm going to go in depth on my entire strategy, breaking down every little bit of it. So if you're excited for that, again, drop a comment, drop a like, and stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching.